I will forget. This recording will be available on the RCLS YouTube channel following this presentation. So generally takes about an hour for the video to process, and then I can put it on there. So you will be able to refer back to this session. For those who don't know me, my name is Jen Park. I'm the Community Engagement and Talent Development Specialist at Ramapo Castile Library System. It's good to have everyone here today. If you are in need of a certificate of attendance or continuing education, please let me know following this program. I will be sending out an email complete with all the resources Kathy discusses today, and then you can just respond to that email and I will send you your certificate by the end of the week. So we have a lot to go over. Kathy has been wonderful. I met with her last week and we sort of discussed how today was going to go, but it is really chock full of information and resources and such. So I'm going to be fairly prompt today and get it started and say thank you so much to Kathy for being here and for taking the time to walk us through what's new, what's happening with NoveList and such. And so thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for the introduction, Jen. I'm Kathy Stewart. I work with NoveList, and as I told Jen earlier, I work for a large public library in the Southeast for not quite, not quite 14 years. I just turn off my video because I find it a little distracting to see myself. But the reason I mentioned that is because, and as I told Jen, often when I had training sessions that I was participating in at my library, I always wanted to make sure that there was something I could put into practice right away after the session. And I felt like I'd been cheated if I didn't learn something that I could walk away and do immediately. I'm very focused on giving you practical information. So we don't have a huge amount of time today. So what I thought would be hopefully helpful to you is that I wanted just to kind of hit some highlights, just to make sure that there's some things about NoveList that, that you know and that you can really again, find ways to use right away. So I thought that I would just point out a couple of content things, a couple things that are advanced search techniques, and also just share some other tips that hopefully, again, will be useful to you. So you should be seeing the NoveList homepage. And I have my chat open, so let me know if you don't. I'm always fearful that I'll share something and, hey, what is she talking about? We can't see it. So you'll see on the homepage a couple things. We've got some great content. One of the things I always want to highlight, we use this real estate here in the center of the page to point out things that we've got going on that we think will be hopefully very useful to you. So we always have webinars. We have them ongoing all the time. And if you haven't taken advantage of a series called Crash Course, it might be something to take advantage of as you have time, particularly if there's a genre area that's a little bit out of your comfort zone. Everybody has a different one that gives them that genre in the headlights feeling that, I don't know anything about gentle reads, or for me, it would be horror. So we have gentle reads coming up soon. And all you have to do is click through on this to this hyperlink here in blue to register for that. They're usually right at 45 minutes. They often have a training session right after that will cover how to find information in NoveList about gentle reads. And they do that for each of the different genres that are covered. So those are excellent to know about and really fun. They pair a novelist librarian, a novelista, with a practitioner who works with library reads. A lot of the board members participate with these. So they're really good fun. And then for those of you who are interested in hearing about Libraryware, we always put the templates for books that were mentioned in these sessions into Libraryware. So you will immediately benefit by having some flyers and bookmarks and things that have gentle read titles listed on them. So big plug for that. It's usually really good and it's always kind of lively. So I wanted to mention that right away. So on the left, you'll see that we have what we call our recommended reads list over here on the left menu. And so I just wanted to call out a couple of those in case you're not aware of them. So first of all, under Fiction A to Z, we immediately added Tales and Tales, just really taking advantage and leveraging that summer reading theme for adults. And so if you happen to have summer reading plans for adult readers, just know that we are always adding content to support summer reading. So we've got a list at the adult level, and we have multiple lists at the younger kids level and the older kids levels, which you can see here is ages 9 to 12 and ages 0 to 8, also for teens. So if you want some pre-prepared lists with titles that support that theme, just know that we've got those, and we do this every year. We add stuff in to really help, again, support that summer reading program. So the other thing you'll know, because it's just getting to be that time of year that even during a pandemic, people need a break. People are starting to get out and about, and reading will be part of their lives as they think about vacation and maybe venturing outside of homes. So we have a beach reads list too that will be fun for you to kind of take advantage of, and to hopefully make some displays or just put some bookmarks together, other materials that will help your readers as they're thinking about things they might want to tackle and read for fun. So I wanted to mention that. So Fiction A to Z under the adult section here on the left is always a really excellent source for some ideas for good stuff. So I wanted to show you that. If you don't know about this next category of lists that we call For Fans Of, it's also an excellent one to be aware of. We update these regularly, and they came about because one of our teen librarians, she worked as I did before joining NoveList for a large public library, and she found that often she had an easier time helping those teens select books if she knew a little bit about what their interests were. So she would ask them what shows they watched or movies they went to, or even musicians that they liked. And she quickly realized it was an excellent source for using that to really tap into what might be a good book selection for them. And so that's how these lists were born. And you can see that we've got a ton of them. Some of the more recent ones, Queen's Gambit, for fans of Bridgerton, of course, because that series has just caught on fire. But these change, and they change based on things that are trending. So these are also really excellent to keep your eye on to get some great ideas for social posts, for maybe to make some displays, both inside your library as things open up, or maybe some bookmarks to put in those curbside bags. So lots of great sources here as well. So just in case you didn't know about those, wanted to alert you to that. And then you'll see too here on the left, we actually have a section called Own Voices Fiction. And that's something fairly recent. We're trying to put together more content to really point out and highlight books in which the authors share that same identity as some of the characters that are included as part of those works. So I wanted to show you all of those and just make sure that you knew about some of these recommended reads lists that just really can be a time saver. These are the lists that our librarians put together. They curate them. Oh, and David, great question. David asks, is there a location where previous For Fans Of lists can be viewed? I don't think we archive those, but that's a really great question. If you want to offline, send me a message about a particular, maybe, well, you don't know the previous list, so you can't ask for it. So let me see and check with our team and just see if that's something that we have access to, that I can just send you guys some different information. So thanks for that question. That's a great question, because we do update them. So I wanted to show you these. The other one, there are a couple for youth that I wanted to point out, because I think they can be a little bit hard to find sometimes. These All Kinds of Reads. One thing that we offer is the ability to find STEM materials, but what can be a little more tricky to find is STEM fiction. And I'm a children's librarian, so you'll find a lot of my examples skewed toward the younger set. So bear with me on that. But this is something that that I think a lot of the kids I used to work with really liked, that nonfiction subject matter. but a lot of times their parents wanted them to branch out as readers a little bit. And so this would have been a great source for me when I was working with children in my library, because we had a lot of kids interested in STEM and STEAM, and we had a lot of programming to support that. But fiction offers a way that some of the subject matter in those fiction titles correlates to those STEM topics. And so it's a great way to pull those kids into fiction. So I wanted to show you that. And also, again, these lists reflect kind of the way kids sometimes can ask for books. Plenty of pictures means just that. Challenging reads is for those kids who are reading way above grade level, and you want to make sure that the subject matter isn't too heavy for them. Oh, thanks, Jen, for putting in my contact information. So yeah, hang on to that contact information. And if you have questions like that, I'm happy to address those if we, happen to run out of time today. So thank you for that. Under the very, very young, just want to point out again a couple of different titles. For the super young, different lists rather, you'll find that we have quite a few. The equivalent for kids for the For Fans Of is I Feel, because so many parents come in asking for books to help kids through a tough spot, or really to tap into things that they are experiencing. So these lists are also really fun and make great subject matter for displays. So I just wanted to point out a couple of different lists. Remember, we have nonfiction. You can toggle back and forth. And so these lists, I hope, can be a really excellent source for you. Oh, just one more I wanted to point out, All Kinds of Lives. I just wanted to, again, just point out that we have in that, notion of mirrors and windows, just really helping kids who want to see themselves in literature be able to identify those books quickly. And then for you wanting to do displays or introduce kids to characters who don't live like they do or look like them, you've got a way to access books that reflect that. So I just wanted to point out a couple of those things for you so that you can access those really quickly. So I wanted to show you both of those things. So something else I wanted to make sure that you were aware of, up here on that gold toolbar at the very top, we've got lots of ways to access information quickly. And again, I'm just hitting some highlights of things I want to make sure that you're aware of. So you'll see that I clicked on themes. You'll remember, and because you're NoveList users, that we've got this special secret language that we call the secret language of books. And the umbrella term for those characteristics that make literature what it is, we call story elements. And so within story elements, it's just all those different aspects of a book that help readers either know they want to read a book, or maybe know that that's not a book for them. But regardless, they've got information to make some great reading decisions to give them the book that has what for them makes them have the best reading experience possible. And so a part of that language is something we call themes. So you could think of themes sort of interchangeably with tropes. It's kind of those characteristics that are really prevalent and characteristic of different specific genres. So you'll know if you've worked with perhaps romance readers who like tropes such as enemies who became lovers, or maybe kids who like their mysteries always taking place in schools. So I wanted to show you these because, again, as you get those kinds of questions that really stump you because they're about something that's not a genre that you're familiar with, this is a great way to have some fun with that. Learn a little bit about some of those common areas, those themes, those tropes, and be able to feel a little more confident about helping those particular readers. The other cool thing about this is that, again, just as I mentioned before with those For Fans Of lists, these make really great sources for displays. Just lots of great ideas here. And also just a way for you to really tap into and think about a way to change up that reader's advisory conversation. So I just wanted to show you these. They're really fun to just kind of work through. They would be a great starting point for a conversation that you're having with a patron. So I wanted to tell you about those and then remind you where to find those. They're up here on the left under Browse By. So you'll see that there are different categories here for you to access, and themes are right there. They are one of them. Great. So wanted to show you those. I also wanted to just tell you about some different genre headings that we've added to NoveList, just in case they are ones that you're not aware of. And so with genre, you can take advantage of those 2-letter field codes and just type those in as you start to become more familiar with some of those genre headings. So I'm going to tell you about this one first, because it's one very near and dear to my heart. And anybody who does storytime regularly always needs ideas for great storytime book suggestions. So we added this genre heading that we call at NoveList a library helper genre, because it's not one of those traditional genres, but it's super helpful in just really helping you with work that you do regularly. So I wanted just to show you that you could do a simple two-letter field code search, and you'll see that you get more than 200 search results here at the top. And at that point, you can actually limit over here on the left in any way that's helpful to you. So these are books that our librarians have identified as being really fabulous for story time, but maybe you want them to fall into a certain subject area or genre, or maybe within that subset, you want to really think about some themes. Maybe you're doing a theme story time and you want to do one around friendship, for example. Or maybe you want books rather with certain kinds of characters. So just know that you can do a broad search such as that one, and then limit further and drill down as much as you would like to do. So I just wanted to show you that it's easy to do those searches for those genres that we've added. And so another one we've added that's similar, it's kind of a corollary one. It's also books for story time, but this one is called participatory. And so I can't talk and spell that word. I'm so sorry. So you'll see that there is a way to easily search for those books that are great for story time, but these, unlike the other ones, are specifically for books that invite kids to, clap or sing or just do some activity as the story is being read. So that's just also a really great time saver that I wanted to tell you about. So one other genre heading that you might be interested in knowing about is called nonfiction that reads like fiction. And I love this one. This is for those subject area readers that you might have, folks who come to your library looking for something just about a subject that's compelling or interesting to them. And so these give you the kinds of search results that you see here. I'll just scroll down so you'll get the idea. You're probably not surprised to see Eric Larson's book there at the top because he's just that kind of writer. So this is those nonfiction books that are almost like page turners. They're really good. They're fast reads. They're really fascinating, compelling writing. And so it's just a way to really pull together those kinds of books super fast. So I wanted just to mention those and tell you a little bit about that new genre heading. So we're always trying to really open up access as much as anything for you and just help you with your readers discover ways to get at these kinds of books really, really quickly. So then you can do other things with them, like make those displays we were talking about, or maybe provide your patrons with some proactive suggestions. So I just wanted you to know that we're always on the lookout for that kind of thing, and they're easy to find. So something else I wanted to mention too, that there are a couple of spots up here on that, again, that top toolbar. We've got quick links to certain and specific kinds of content in NoveList, and one that might be helpful to you, both book display ideas for sure, but also book club resources. We have quite a few book discussion guides. They offer great plot summaries in case you have to lead a book discussion unexpectedly, as I did once. And it's a great way, if you haven't read the book at hand, to quickly get up to speed. They provide discussion question prompts and answers, and also tie-ins to other books for additional reading. So read-alike suggestions at the end of each of those. So if you don't know about those, they're a nice resource that will, again, be quite the time saver for you. Over here under, just to the right of that quick link, one more link on just lots of different things that will be super useful again. And this how do I section came about because these represent the questions that we probably get asked most frequently at NoveList. And so we decided to unbury answers to these questions by making them accessible here. So I wanted to show you this so that you can just really take a deeper dive sometime when you have time and come back and take a look at some of these things that will lead you to ways to use NoveList quickly and get information that you need super fast. So I wanted to show you one more thing under Find Books by Appeal. We actually have that secret language of books available to you. You can always access it here, as I just did from that top toolbar. You can download it, and I could actually just pull that open right now, which I will do so you can see what it looks like. And this book is really fabulous. It makes a great way to really talk amongst yourselves with staff members about those different story elements, components that I was mentioning, you know, all these different things, writing style, tone, pacing, all of these different aspects of a book that can really help you help your readers. And you'll see as I do this that each of these terms is defined. You also can see to what age level that particular term has been applied. So that if you wanted to find more books that share a characteristic about a book that maybe a reader that you're working with has really enjoyed, you have a way to access that information. And also, if you wanted to write me, or maybe Jen and I can talk offline, if you wanted to get copies of this book sent to you, we can ship them on site to you so that you can have them available at the desk as things open up. We have found that a lot of libraries we work with have readers who actually really like using these books. They're really cute. They're spiral bound and they're very easy to flip through. And some patrons have actually used these in conjunction with their own book club discussion as a way to really think about different ways to talk about those books. And also educators have used it as a way to introduce to kids, particularly upper elementary, middle school, high school, you know, definitely upper level kids, but just start to give them a sense of being able to label characteristics that they enjoy about a book and get some language and critical thinking going on so that they can start to articulate the kinds of books they like and use it for the basis of their own book discussions as well. So I just wanted to mention that it's possible for you to always access this from within NoveList. And we got there by this how do I find books by appeal, genre, or theme. Or you can always send out a request and we will ship them to you so you can have some on hand as well. So I wanted to mention that in case you had not seen it. And so one other thing I see where I wanted to spend a little, probably half time on NoveList and then some additional time on Libraryware as well. So I wanted to show you one more thing too that I thought would be also helpful to you, and that is getting alerted when there's new content available. It is so much of a time saver that if you're not doing that, I think that it will really, really help you in just being able to streamline things that you're interested in finding more about. So a really easy way to do that is actually from the advanced search page. So I'm going to click there. And I'm going to use, well, I could use the example that's already populated here if I wanted to, but instead I'm going to use, I'm going to clear that one out. I'm going to use this drop down. You can see that you've got some choices here of things that you might want to think about. Like I could look for things like themes. I could look for things like media mentions. That's one more thing. I'm actually going to hop down and tell you about that really quickly in case you don't know about media mentions. So you'll see on the right, it's kind of tiny text here, but I'm highlighting it right now. It's a drop-down menu. Again, if you don't know about this functionality, you'll love it because you can just click on any of these different shows, ABC, Oprah, Andrew Luck Book Club, Roxane Gay, CBS Sunday Morning, Today Show, any of those. If you wanted just to get a short search result list of books that have been mentioned on any of these shows within the last 6 months, all you have to do is click one of these and click search and you are set. And then you'll get a nice list of books that have been buzzing or trending for some reason or another and have been mentioned in the media. And again, great source for displays for sure. So I wanted to show you that. But I wanted to show you too that I thought we could do a search for a genre, multicultural romances. So if you wanted to maybe keep up with romances, maybe start to diversify your genre section a little bit. So you can see that you can click that. I'm moving down the page. Maybe I want to know forthcoming multicultural romances and maybe ones that have a star review. So you can choose the aspects of interest to you and then click search, and you'll get a search result list that you can then take to a, oops, that didn't give me quite the result I wanted here. So let me move here and just show you. That wasn't quite what I had in mind, because I wanted to show you that there is a way to get to an RSS feed. So let me try it this way. So I'll try that one more time. I may not have cleared properly. So let me just try one more time. Right, there we go. So I can do it just a little differently than I did from the advanced search page, but you'll see that I wanted that genre. If I wanted to choose some of those limiters that I was mentioning to you, star review, maybe award winner, I can select those here on the left. And the thing I really wanted to get to was here, this RSS feed. It's a bright orange button and it has share right beside it. So if I click on that, it's easy to create a search alert. And you can do this with any really great search string that you come up with. You can make this nice search alert. You can actually set it to be able to receive it as often as you would like. So maybe I want it to come once a month, and I click Save Alert. And then when I come up to the personalization section, which is over here on the far right, I'm a big fan of folders. You'll see this folder icon is activated. It recognizes me as Kathy. So when I click on folders, I should see over on the left, these blue hyperlinks will take me to whatever search alerts I've created. So I wanted to show you this because, again, it can be really, really a great time saver. If there's kind of a tricky reader's advisory question that you get, and you've actually worked with your colleagues and you've come up with this great search string, this is a way to preserve that and not have to work so hard the next time when you get a particular question that you really wanted to make sure that you receive suggestions for book titles about that search alert regularly. So for me, one of the ones I like is because I like story time and doing story time. And I was very particular about the kinds of books I read. I always enjoyed books in which there was some kind of a surprise ending. So you can really take advantage and do some combination. This is reflective of a search that will let you search review language for that characteristic surprise ending. You could search for anything that reviewers tend to call out regularly, you know, beach reads or just all different kinds of things. So it's a great time saver just to think about, again, getting some help with those kinds of questions that you get asked about a lot. And so you'll see over on the left that I use this folder and search alert combo for quite lots of different things that I like to work on. So you might want to then maybe make a list of books to buy if you find and identify a lot of multicultural romances that you're just thinking, oh, wow, we need to get more of these. Just a great way, again, to just kind of identify those titles, stash them here for other purposes that you might need to use them for. So can't say enough good things about folders and just the ability to take advantage of that functionality of combining those search alerts with that folder functionality and be able to get back to some things that you want to very quickly. So again, just as a recap, we just talked about some different items on the homepage. Just the fact that we've got these recommended reads lists that our librarians update regularly. We've got fiction and nonfiction for all these different audience levels that you see depicted here on the left. We also talked about this section at the top with these really quick hyperlinks to very specific things that might be useful to you, both themes and also those quick links to call out different types of content that you might want to come back or either access quickly from right here on the homepage. And then also under the How Do I, again, great way to find really drill down for books by appeal, genre, or theme, and then take advantage of those search alerts. So one other thing to know about with regard to NoveList is that we update and add content and functionality and features pretty regularly. So learn how to use NoveList will take you here to our product page. So I'm just going to walk you down this product page too. It's kind of a nice segue over to talk a little bit more about Libraryware, another one of our products. So you'll see that we've got a blog called The Latest. This is a great way to get some new information and strategies about different things that we've added in terms of our functionality, our content, different features in NoveList that you might want to know about. So these are fun to read. They're super short. They're very practical. They make a great source for some good information. So I just wanted to point those out. We also have these various categories here in this section that we call the Idea Center. And it's just that. It's to give you ideas on lots of different things that you might be working on. So you'll see we have an educator section in case there are educators you work with regularly. We have a way for you to get ideas on how to promote NoveList. We've added lots of different kinds of functionality, some bookmarks, different things for you to take advantage of, and ideas and strategies for ways to talk about NoveList. And then here, probably as much as any, this Improve Your RA is a great way to really learn more about those story elements or ways that you might want to take advantage of those specific pieces of NoveList content. And then also, you'll see that there's lots of different kinds of training materials. These search strategies are really super fast, short, printable handouts that just walk you through different scenarios, like finding summer reading content in NoveList, like finding things like books to help those readers who prefer gentle reads, as the subject of that webinar indicated, or to find books about specific kinds of characters. So lots of different strategies for particular scenarios that you might be encountering that are very short and sweet. And then here for trainers, we actually have a PowerPoint. If you wanted to do an in-house NoveList training session, we have a very high-level NoveList overview. We've got trainer guides that give you talking points. We've got a scavenger hunt that helps you help staff members by providing some just fun ways to tackle finding different information about those different appeal factors. So this would be a great thing to do as a group. Maybe watch one of those crash course webinars, then maybe take advantage of kind of hitting some of the high points of NoveList with some of the materials that we've put together here. So I didn't know if you knew about these. And I know that at my library, we're always looking for different sections on Staff Development Day or Staff Ed Day, as we called it. So if you wanted to create some readers advisory kinds of breakout sessions, this might be a good source for you. And I'm always happy to suggest some different materials too, by the way, because I know Jen put my contact email in there in info so that you always can write me and just let me know what you need. So just wanted to show you we've got lots of great things, really nice short tutorials to make it super easy for you to pull together some materials. So that's a little bit about NoveList. I hope it was helpful just to have some of those highlights covered. And again, we got to this page from NoveList by clicking on that link at the very top gold toolbar, learn how to use NoveList. So this is how we got to this page so that you can hopefully come back, take a closer look, and find some great materials. So I wanted to show you about that. So I'm going to now take you into Libraryware. And so this, just searching from the top, one of the first things I wanted to mention is that we have quite a bit of updated NoveList content in Libraryware. I think I mentioned to you that we have quite a few NoveList promotional materials. You'll see some of them reflected here on this carousel, but I wanted to show you the power of this search box in Libraryware. You could just put in a search for NoveList, and you'll quickly see that we have more than 600 templates that have lots of different ways for you to reach out and promote different aspects of NoveList that might be of interest to folks coming into your library. So I just wanted to show you that. And one of the angles is a good one. You're 24/7 librarian. So we can help support your readers when you can't be there by just giving them access to NoveList. So I wanted you to see that you could do a broad search like that. And of course, come over to the left and do some refining. On this far left menu, you can see that you can refine by format. So if you wanted to maybe just see e-blasts, it's going to take those search results way down to just 20. So lots of different ways to access and think about different things that you might want to promote. One of them might be NoveList. So you've got an easy way to get to those materials. So I wanted to show you that. Something else that we've done that's fairly new are what we call campaign guides. So these are just, I think of them as a tip sheet meets a best practices guide. And they were developed by our team to really in response to feedback that we received from folks who were telling us that they had to do things like reopen the library. It was closed for a while, and now we're having to reopen. And we just want to make sure we're covering all of our bases in terms of how we might want to get the word out. So this was kind of the first one, this reopening your library guide. And we since have offered and put together guides on helping libraries promote your Reader's Advisory, your new form-based Reader's Advisory service. Also about promoting story time, because it's hard to get the word out, you know, when story time goes from in-person to virtual, and now we're looking at maybe back to in-person again, or maybe a hybrid, maybe some online, some in-house. So lots of different aspects of service that have changed just so super rapidly that we wanted to make sure that we gave you the means through which you could really pull together materials quickly. So our most recent one is over on the far left. I'm actually going to open it up and just show you in case you haven't seen this. And Jen put in the chat, if you'd like a Libraryware account, she gave you a contact to reach out to. So thanks for that, Jen. And that's something that hopefully will be, again, helpful to you. So you can see from this sheet that I was referencing, that we give you not only suggestions of things that you might want to do, but then we give you also a template suggestion as well. So you can kind of march down these guides and just see and think about which of those activities or suggestions that you might want to implement. And you've got some suggestions, you've got links to ways to get more information, and then you've got some nice template suggestions as well. So this particular guide is actually called Comprehensive Promotional. So in other words, you could use this guide with pretty much anything that you want to get the word out about. So just whatever kind of campaign or organized set of pieces of promotional materials that you might want to implement, this is a great way to start. So I wanted just to tell you about that and just tell you and show you how many of those we've added. We've also added one for job seekers, ones to support educators. They're down here. I'm hovering over them right now. And then another one I wanted just to call out is this one called Engaging Your Cardholders. We actually got a lot of feedback about this as well over the last year, especially during the pandemic, with folks who were telling us that, wow, we've gotten lots more people who've applied for a library card. You know, they need materials. A lot of folks are schooling kids from home. And so we came up with this campaign guide to help you with really keeping those new cardholders engaged. So you'll see that there is a series of 5 email templates here so that you can really think about reaching out to those new cardholders and making sure that they know what you're all about. You can emphasize the resources that you think they would find most beneficial and helpful. And again, you've got those template suggestions, just as I was showing you with those other campaign guides. So it's a great way just to really think about reaching out and almost in a retail fashion, just making sure that you're really tuned into what folks in your community want, that you're really showing them that you have the kinds of materials that you want, and you're doing it in a way that makes sense. You know, it's just a series of emails, including one at the very end to remind those card holders, hey, it's time to renew your card, because you don't want them to go away. You want to keep them engaged, keep them understanding all the materials that you have to offer them all the time. So we were really happy to do that, to really think about ways to help folks, help people in the community, and do it a lot more quickly. So you find things like that by searching campaign guides. And so something else that definitely came about during the pandemic for sure is libraries telling us that people in their community, their patrons, were really hungry to be able to come back in the library and browse, just spend time, walk the stacks, and just have that fun serendipity feeling of finding something great. And so with so many libraries closing and having limited hours, of course, that's gone away. And so our designers came up with this nice widget template for these widgets that you can place on your library's webpage. Some libraries actually made a landing page and had several genres or access points, as you see here. And so you place these on your website and then build a search around these so that as folks are searching for your library, taking a look at everything that you have to offer, they're seeing these. And when they click on them, they're taken to a search that's directly about, say, a romance genre search. So you're pulling them from your website into your catalog and giving the closest approximation of that virtual or that in-person browsing that folks have been craving. You're providing that virtually. So just wanted to show you that. And I mentioned that it came about during the pandemic, but you know, it's not a terrible idea all year round regardless, because I know, speaking from a librarian perspective, I always wanted people to definitely stay in our catalog as long as possible. We want them in there looking at things, searching around, finding good stuff, putting it on hold. So this is one way that you can do that. So I wanted to show you that just to make sure that you know about it. So something else too that you can search for, just in case you don't know, is you can actually search for kind of tone type words like creepy. And I'm already regretting this because I forgot. I do this every time because I like searching creepy. It's just fun. But there is this terrible clown image here that kind of gives me nightmares. So I wish I'd chosen something different, like upbeat. That's something else you can search, by the way. Upbeat, beach reads, trying to think of another one, heartwarming. So there are lots of different tone sorts of words that you can search that will give you some nice search results through which you can really talk about and highlight different books that share those same characteristics, or find event-focused templates as well. So I didn't know if you knew that. I wanted to let you know that you can search for tone words and also things like design elements too, like polka dots. You just want to see templates that have polka dots for something that you're desiring a specific look and feel for. So I just wanted to show you that there's a way to find design elements. So that's something else I wanted to make sure that you're aware of. So I wanted to show you that. So I'm going to turn your attention to the top toolbar. Once again, just to make sure that you know, if you click on this exclamation point icon, anytime at all that you just want to see what's new, maybe just get a little bit of a heads up. We always update this page so that you can see the latest, greatest of types of things that have been added to Libraryware. So you'll see that we do things like these micro trainings. You'll have access to that. If we add new functionality, as we did with just an RSS feed, the different campaign guides that I was just showing you, it's just a great way to get really quick, just little pieces of information on newer things that maybe you weren't aware of. So I wanted just to turn your attention to that. as a way, if you have Libraryware, just to come right back to this and maybe take a look and make sure that you knew about this new and improved functionality of all different sorts here from that one little part, that page that I was telling you about, from this exclamation point icon in the top right corner. So I wanted to make sure that you knew about that. On the question mark side of the house here, that will take you to help. And I wanted to call out a couple things here, again, just to make sure you're aware. So if you go down here, you'll see that we've got lots of different pieces of training materials. And each of these, we always want to give you the ability to either read or watch anything that you might like to do in Libraryware. And these watch hyperlinks will take you to very short tutorials that are always less than 5 minutes about a specific thing that you want to do. So you might just want to know, how do I make a flyer? How do I make an email blast? How do I post to social? Those are the kinds of things that you can just see how you do it. It'll show you the same screens that you would see in Libraryware. So super fast, super short way to just get information really quickly. So I wanted to show you those. And anybody who hasn't used Libraryware in a while would really benefit by this Jumpstart Libraryware video on the left that I'm hovering over right now. It's, I think, about 5 minutes, and it just gives you what I call kind of a walkabout of the Libraryware homepage, and just calls out things that might be of interest to you, and just kind of as a, almost like a refresher slash reminder. So, oh, and there's a question from David about a way to more easily transplant specific design elements from a template, fonts, color palettes, to a different kind of template. That's a good question. And you're actually highlighting something I wanted to remind you of. I think the best way to tackle things like that is to, I switched screens on you to this homepage to take advantage of our live chat. There's an icon here at the bottom left corner. And I think anytime you have a question just like that one, if you would just take advantage of the live chat, they not only will answer your question, but they can walk you through how to do it right there from the live chat. And it's available to you from 9 Eastern Standard Time in the morning until 11 Eastern Standard Time in the evening. And unless they're in a meeting, if you click on that chat icon, as I just did, it will come right up. So that is the very best way to get questions like that answered really, really quickly. And they have seen it all, done it all, heard it all. So there's, or you could just play stump the chat person. But I think that you'll find that they are really able to answer that kind of question really quickly. So thanks for that, because I wanted to remind you and talk to you about chat in case you hadn't taken advantage of it. And so I appreciate the fact that you raised that question. And so you'll see the companion over here on the bottom left. If you go to the bottom right corner, you'll also see that we've got a knowledge base. And so some things you can find answers to as far as just sort of step-by-step kinds of instructions, just generally. And so David's question was a great one that I would definitely lob to our support team, because they're so good and they're available to you most of the day during business days of the week, not weekends though. But this other section will have more general kind of a high level kind of a start to finish cheat sheets too. So I wanted to show you these and just show you that you can go right to some of these things should you like, and just really think about what category of thing that you might want to know more about, and then be able to click on these hyperlinks and get more information in kind of a step-by-step fashion here as well. So I'm just scrolling down so you can just see the kinds of things that you might want to know about, and just really think about how to do a specific thing. And so one of the things I wanted to mention when I was talking about that folder functionality in NoveList is I'm hoping that you all will find ways to take advantage of that and really think about using folders by pulling in content from NoveList and using it to populate content inside of Libraryware. And so you'll see that I just typed in folders, and it's just a great thing to know about both NoveList folders and then also Libraryware folders as well. And so what I wanted to show you is if you type in something like folders, you're going to get some great search results that will give you all different kinds of aspects of using folders. And I would always start with this section about naming and organizing your folders, because we've worked with libraries of lots of different sizes, and we've figured out some strategies about kind of some best practices in that regard, with things that you might want to take into consideration as you're setting up your account, particularly if you have multiple users. So it's good to get some tips and just think that through a little bit. And that will save you some time later on as you're searching and reusing materials in Libraryware. So I wanted to show you that. And then I also wanted to show you that you'll see there's a link that specifically addresses how you pull in that content from your NoveList folder into creating some materials in Libraryware. So I wanted you to know that, and that there's a little bit of an order of events to that. So it's really a great functionality to take advantage of to leverage that searchability in NoveList, and then tie it to the ability to create some really beautiful looking pieces in Libraryware. So the first thing you have to do, just to make this simple for you, is just to make sure that you have set up that account in NoveList. And I know this sounds like I'm being Captain Obvious, but there's a real thing that you need to just think through, like, what will I use this for? Set that up in NoveList, set up the kinds of folders that you would like, and maybe even set up some search alerts first. So do that, all of that first, and that will be a way to streamline this whole process. So once you do that, then you have to have your Libraryware account configured to make sure that it turns on that functionality from NoveList. So really quick, easy to do. That would be something that you could, again, take advantage of that live chat and just tell them, hey, I want to start doing this. I want to make sure that my account's set up properly. Excuse me, and they'll take care of you. So I wanted you to know there's a little bit of an order of events. And then also there are some templates in Libraryware that are specifically set up to receive that information. And you'll find information like that if you take a look at some of these really super short tutorials. The template is a section layout template, and it's the means through which you can most easily receive those titles from within those NoveList folders. So I just wanted to call that out because I really think that you'll find that that is a great way to take advantage of and create some really excellent content in Libraryware by taking advantage of NoveList functionality as well. And so something else I wanted to make sure that you knew about, it's something that we developed, again, as a result of feedback. It's kind of this, again, kind of tip sheet meets best practices. And it's just something our designers pulled together that, again, would be super easy to use to have as the basis for a conversation that you might want to have with the staff members who'll be using Libraryware. And that, again, it's not like anybody's doing anything right or wrong. It's just suggestions, merely that. But the reason I said it the way I did is that often it helps just to make sure that everyone's kind of on the same page with regard to how you use color, whether or not you want branding to really dictate the kinds of pieces that you make in terms of your font selection, color palettes, as David was asking about. So if you've got some specific characteristics that you want to make sure that get called out and adhered to, this is the way that you make sure in a nice way that, that you're having that conversation and everybody kind of understands what the objectives and outcomes that are desired are. And the other thing too, this is kind of a fun document. It's fun to get some ideas on some best practices that maybe people on staff haven't thought about in terms of using the same kinds of fonts, maybe not too many types of fonts, maybe using similar photographs across different types of pieces that you might want to create. So some really good suggestions. And then again, the nice screen callouts in Libraryware so that anybody using Libraryware can see, oh yeah, I want to do this thing they're talking about. And so you can see what area in Libraryware you need to find or access that particular piece of information. So I just wanted to show you again, I know that it's helpful to know a little bit about what's possible and then know some sources to find different pieces of information. And so that was my objective here, is just to really make sure to show you some different ways and means through which you could come and access different pieces of information for the kinds of things that you would like to be doing in Libraryware. And so you'll remember too that, again, on that home page, you'll see that I did the searching that we just undertook. But it's always possible to use that live chat, get some questions answered, and then to make sure that you're aware of functionality that will help you in terms of, for example, if you have multiple users, you might want to make sure that folks understand how to use this functionality, my starred items, and really make sure that you are taking advantage of and starring and grouping and creating folders in a way that makes organizing your work really easy to do and easy to access. So I just wanted to show you a couple things like that and show you some different possibilities here as you're really thinking about and tackling that work that you're doing. So I think we're almost out of time. And again, I'm going to put my contact information in there one more time. Oops, can't type and talk apparently. So I'm kstewart@ebsco.com. And I hope this was helpful to you, just to give you a little bit of information about some new things, some things that we have worked on in Libraryware. And also don't forget to come back to that exclamation point page. And we also provide access to a newsletter. All Libraryware folks get a regular monthly newsletter that also contains, in the way that the NoveList newsletter did, it contains information about new enhancements, different functionality that we've added, changes that we've made, new template kind of highlights, and also we'll call out things like this, these micro trainings that we offer regularly about different aspects of service and functionality in Libraryware. So when you come to this page, you'll see them. And if you take advantage of that newsletter, you will see them and be able to sign up and register for these kinds of sessions and get more information and have an expert to pose questions to. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of the newsletter, aware of this page, so that you can come to it yourselves and really start to just poke around a little bit and get more familiar with Libraryware. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I wanted to also, I'm going to return to that product page one more time, because I wanted to also show you that we have a whole page devoted to Libraryware, including some examples. So if you wanted a little bit of inspo, you'll find it here by taking a peek at our example page. So it should be loading now. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and just show you where to access that page. You can see what that looks like. So here's the link. I'm going to just pull it up so you can be seeing it. And you'll see that there are a whole slew of different examples if you wanted just to get some additional ideas as sources for things that you might like to try in Libraryware. You can just start to get a sense of what the possibilities are, and also have some concrete examples so that if you wanted to come back and ask to take advantage of a particular look and feel, that you've got something to work from. So I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I see that we're just about out of time. So thank you so much for making time today. We so appreciate it. And Jen, I appreciate all your help with getting this session put together and recording it so that hopefully you can have something to refer back to.
Thank you, Kathy. That was so comprehensive. There's so much stuff that even I learned. Does anyone have any questions? We can take some questions right now.
Thanks. I'm glad it was helpful, and thank you for it.
Yep. And just a reminder, this will be posted on YouTube. So I don't, expect everyone to be furiously taking notes. So you can always refer back and poke around. I'll give it just another moment to see if a question comes up. Feel free to unmute yourself if you would like.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad to hear that. And I didn't highlight the feedback button in NoveList, so let me do that. I switched screens. It's on the far right at the top gold toolbar, and you can always send questions in that way too. We check this every day, and we're really happy to not only get feedback, but any questions that you have. So both in Libraryware, the live chat, also in NoveList via this feedback. And again, if you wanted me to expand on anything, or just you have a question that you think, well, this is a little detailed, just shoot me an email, and I can always address your question offline too. So don't feel shy about that. That's what we're here for.
Okay, a question did come through. Do individual libraries hold the NoveList account, or can we also have our own account?
That's a great question. So libraries hold the NoveList account, but you can have your own instance of personalization, for example. So if you wanted to do the thing I was suggesting about the folders and the search alerts, you can have your own instance of a folder within your library's account. Oh, David asks, will Libraryware ever introduce an align to grid tool or interface to help place text boxes more easily? There is some grid functionality. It may not be quite as quite what you have in mind, but I actually will have access to this chat, and so I will make sure our product team knows that you have interest in that too. So if you want to send me an email, David, with those two questions, we can have a little bit further discussion, and I can loop in one of our product managers too. Because usually they'll want to know, like, what is he doing when he asks that? And they want to see what you're talking about. So if you're game for that, then that would be something that we could explore in a little more detail too. So happy to do that. Yeah. And I really mean that. Please don't hesitate. Just send me an email, and we'll get your question addressed and your feedback shared. Yeah, thank you. That would be great. It'd be great for us too. So.
Okay, great. We'll just give it another moment to see any further questions come through. Just a reminder to everyone still on, I will send a follow-up email for today's session. If you would like to respond to that to request your CE certificate, you can do so, or you can just shoot me an email with there's my email address, and I'll take care of that. All right, so it's just a little bit after 12, and I don't see any further questions coming through. So thank you, Kathy, so much for taking the time to be here and provide this great information. So appreciate it. And
oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, we can have another session in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Well, thanks, everybody,
for attending. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.